Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing today, wherever you are in the world? Hopefully you are enjoying beautiful sunshine since it is summer everywhere except for Australia. For those of you people who follow me down under, I know it's your winter time, but hopefully you have some sunshine there too. So today I have a special guest on my channel who is a sexual wellness advocate and distributor. Her name is Desi Snowden. And the reason I'm having her on my channel today is because sexual wellness, especially for women and myself, I've been going through this for a while, is a huge, important topic that's right on my heart, like just laying on my heart right now, because it's such a big deal for myself and all of my girlfriends that are my age that are 50 plus. We have a lot of issues. And so I really wanted to bring an expert in this area on the show since I know so little about this stuff. And just so you all know, this show is going up on my Rumble channel, but it is also going up on my How I Heal Everything channel on YouTube. So for those of you watching on Rumble, please go over to my YouTube channel. It's my new channel. I still have my Spiritual Growth Journeys channel, but I have a channel that's just for health. Now, the reason for that is because YouTube, every time I would post health videos to my spiritual channel, YouTube would say, no, 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 no. And they would go pull it down off my channel and put me in YouTube jail for 30 days where I couldn't post or do anything. So I created a channel. Apparently they think, okay, well, she's a spiritual expert, so she's not allowed to be talking about health. What they don't know about me, and what some of you don't know about me, is I am a health coach. I've been health coaching people for oh my gosh, 20 plus years. I've been health coaching people a very long time. I am not an expert in sexual wellness though, which is why I have Desi on my show today, because that's not the area I specialize in. I specialize in more like, virus prevention, cancer prevention, anti-aging, healing weight loss, healing any kind of, medical problem you have. That's the kind of stuff I do. Pretty much more preventative health, and also like healing and curing like ongoing diseases, like different diseases. So anyway, so I am not just a spiritual teacher. I'm also a health coach. So I just wanted to point that out to the people who only know my spiritual information. So today I have Miss Desi on the show. Welcome, Desi, to my show. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So Desi, my first question for you, and I'm sure everybody wants to know this, how did you become a sexual wellness advocate? And you're also a distributor, an affiliate with Pure Romance. So can you tell everybody kind of a little bit about your background and how you got into this line of work and specialty?
Completely by accident. Completely by accident. So I've been doing this for 16 years. 3 years before that, I actually was pretty much shoved into my first Pure Romance party. I had just found out I had autoimmune. I have a couple other chronic illnesses. Things were happening that I didn't have the answers for. And quite honestly, doctors that are dealing with autoimmune, they may not have a whole lot of information or background in sexual wellness and how that affects your body, like the autoimmune part affects your body. So my neighbor, she was like, you should come meet this lady. And I was like, no, I don't want to. She's like, just come. And honestly, I will be honest, I was the person that was sitting there going, well, this is not for me. I don't need any of this. And I listened to this lady, and she was absolutely phenomenal. And I was the first one in the order room asking a million questions. And I bought, like she says, it is, when it comes to your wellness and your journey in that, sometimes there is a bit of experimentation. She definitely didn't recommend anything that would have hurt me. But she said, this may work for you, or this may work for you. Like, we're going to have to see what works for you and your personal issues. I literally was so desperate to feel better and to have that connection with my partner again. So I bought a bunch of stuff. And then I was like halfway home and I realized we never had this conversation. But thankfully, I have an amazing partner. This was such a life-changing, pivotal thing for me. And the way she talked about how to have conversations with your partner, something I had never learned growing up, something that was never taught. I don't even think it's still taught all that much. And then fast forward 3 years later, and I got to the point where I just wasn't going to be able to work 40 hours a week at a traditional job anymore. And I worked for the Department of Defense. And it just wasn't good for me. And my husband said, well, you should do pure romance. You love those get-togethers and you love doing all of that. So I was like, no, I said, I'm perfectly fine with the products. I love going to the parties or hosting the get-togethers. I'm just not comfortable talking to people. He was the one that literally purchased the kit. I got an email and I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. And I did it, and it was just so like exciting. And I loved when I recommended something and it really worked for them, it got me really excited. So then I started taking classes, and it was a sexual communication class here at a college, or it was a sexual wellness class or a sexual health class. And it just started growing. And the company that I work for is absolutely amazing. They have so much sexual wellness information just on our site and our back office. But then they have courses you can take through colleges. So I started doing all that. And then one book led to another. And then it was listening to panels of doctors. And it just spiraled into this thing where I started doing some sexual wellness groups. I did in the basement of a temple, a Jewish temple. It was sort of like a second marriage when people got retired out and they were still, very active with each other. And that was a lot of fun. I've done a couple of sexual wellness groups. I've done some LGBTQ trans groups. And this was like meet and greets and questions and information for them. And then, obviously I'm also a pure romance distributor. I completely love these products. We're phthalate free, which is super important. A lot of our products are tested at the Kinsey Institute through the University of Indiana. We're pharmaceutical grade, so it's not cosmetic grade where you're going to have to worry about having reactions and things like that. And we're very well educated on our products. So the two just sort of went hand in hand, and that's how I got here. And I've been doing it for 16, it'll be 17 years in October.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So you obviously love it and you're passionate about it, which, when I'm counseling people and I'm doing, private sessions for people, the biggest thing people have an issue with is, what is my purpose? What should I be doing for career or a job? And the one thing I tell them, and this is something my mother taught me when I was a little girl, is that if you find something that you really love and that you're really passionate about and you're talented at it, you're good at it, it's something you're good at, whether it's crocheting or whatever, and it's something you're passionate about, and you turn it into a business, you're going to be very successful. You need to be passionate about what you do. And from the moment I met you, the one thing I know is you're really, really very passionate about this work that you're doing with this. And that is awesome.
I mean, just with my daughter growing up and seeing what's provided in schools as far as sexual education, it's not there. And some of it isn't even correct. So, I mean, it's worrisome, especially as a woman with a daughter, making sure she has all the right information to make those informed decisions and know when to push for a different doctor or a different kind of procedure or whatever is going on with her. And if you don't know, you don't know. And so I feel it's very important.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the amount of education that they give in the school districts is it's not, it's like, how do you want to say, it's just enough to let people hang themselves, as they would say. They're not really giving the full enchilada. They're giving specific stuff that's based on their own biases and their own, you know, whatever it is that they determine. They're not doing a very good job of covering the gamut of all the important things that they need to know, number one. And number two, they're hitting them up, I think, at kind of the wrong age with some of the stuff. I think there's a lot of the stuff that's age, you know, needs to be more age appropriate. But what I want to say about all this is every mother and father out there needs to advocate for their child, because you cannot rely on the school system to educate your children about sexuality. Every parent needs to advocate and teach their children about sexuality. And if you are a parent who is, how do I want to say, shy about it, because I've had friends who didn't want to talk to their kids about sexuality, if you are shy about it and you don't want to have the talk and you don't want to give your kids all the information, then you need to go to somebody like Desi or somebody else who is an advocate in this area and an expert in this area that can help you and your children, so that they are well equipped to know all of the do's and the don'ts and everything, because you don't want them getting sexually transmitted diseases. You don't want them to damage or hurt anything within their body or outside of their body. You know, you don't want them to make stupid, bad choices. You want them to make healthy, good choices. The best way to do that is to be a true advocate for your teens, and really making sure that you sit them down. And if you can't do it yourself, bring in somebody like Desi or go to her company that has all this information, and find the resources that it takes to help support your children so that they know what to do and they make the right choices.
I
Really,
agree.
yeah, really, really important. So Miss Desi, can you share with everybody today, what is exactly is perimenopause? Because it's something a lot of my clients are going through right now, and they're having a lot of difficulties with it. Can you explain perimenopause and menopause, and kind of how to manage both of those things? Like, how do you deal with
Okay. So, contrary to popular belief, it can be perfectly normal for perimenopause to begin at the age of 35. Like, the average age of menopause, so full blown menopause means that you have gone without a period for one entire year. So from beginning to end, if somewhere in there you have like a 2-3 day period, you start all over. Okay. So you have been without menstruation for one entire year. That's full menopause. Okay. Perimenopause is a 7 to 10 year process. Some people it's 5, some people it's 3. We don't talk about those because we're jealous. But it's those years before where your estrogen and your progesterone are starting to alter, and it goes up and down, and it's starting to dwindle, or maybe you get a surge of it, or maybe your ovaries have a surge and you start having all these symptoms, and your periods can become irregular, really heavy. And if you have a really heavy period that maybe is lasting 2 weeks, or you're passing much larger clots, I definitely recommend going to your GYN, and making sure you don't have a fibroid, because those fibroids is what can cause enormously heavy periods. And they're easily removed. And or because otherwise you could actually become anemic. I do have a friend who her periods were so heavy, and she was in her 30s, and they were just horrendous. And she became anemic to the point where she had to go in and get IV drips with, you know, the medications and that. And so it's really important that you take care of your whole body. There is menopause is a little bit crazy. It's a lot crazy. Like I tell my younger clients, if you think PMS is bad, no, it's coming. It's coming. So some women glide through menopause, not a darn thing. God bless you. Yeah. For most people, you will get a mix of some symptoms some of the time. For some people, menopause, especially if they have other health conditions, can be exacerbated. So basically, you're going to get the main symptoms are headaches, sweats, night sweats, hot flashes. And a hot flash, I have, because for everybody, the hot flash is a little different. I have one lady, she literally goes, my crotch becomes fire, and then the rest of me goes in flames.
Wow.
And I just sweat like crazy.
Mhm.
Another lady says her feet will start to get hot and she knows she's about to have a hot flash. Another lady will tell me that her breasts will get really hot. So it really depends on you. And then the hot flash can last anywhere from seconds to a couple of minutes to maybe 5 minutes. If it's lasting quite a while, I definitely would go see your physician and talk to them about maybe getting on, if it's good, okay for you, some HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. Small doses can minimize some of those symptoms. Is it a long-term solution? No. So how would something be if you were extreme? You're also going to gain weight around the midsection. There's some great nutrition tips and exercise tips for that, and many different places for that. So my go-to is always University of Indiana website, because they're the home of the Kinsey Institute, and the Mayo Clinic website. They have great tips on there as well. You're also going to have drier skin. Your hair is going to be a lot more brittle. It's going to fall out some. Yep. If you have thyroid disease, that can be a huge issue. There's really good vitamins for that. And I definitely recommend collagen for like mixing that, taking either the powder and mixing it in with a smoothie or their supplements. Collagen's really good for that. You're definitely going to have some sleep issues, and that is 100% given. Some people have, like, they get bouts of hormonal insomnia. Some people don't. Brain fog is a huge thing. You'll walk in a room and you'll be like, why the hell am I here?
I do that all the time.
My friend, she the other day, she called me and she's like, I couldn't find my keys and they were in the freezer.
Oh my God, I've totally done that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the weirdest things happen. Definitely Post-it notes and reminders on your phone are your friend at this point. And then definitely just concentrating on you get more inflammation in your body when you go into perimenopause. There's a really great inflammation diet, and I hate using the word diet. I would say there's a great meal plan for reducing inflammation in your body. That does help a lot of symptoms. I know some people like myself who's got autoimmune on top of it, going gluten-free. Soy is a huge in-person thing for inflammation. So I'm not saying you have to go gluten-free completely, but reducing the amount of gluten would help a normal, healthy person reduce some of that inflammation and some of those symptoms. And this is all stuff, I'm telling you, the best book that you can get is the Vagina Bible. It is honestly from teen years to old age. And I love that there's like a thing in the back where you can look up certain things. They give amazing tips. It's one of the books I still constantly use to this day. Like if someone calls me up and for a minute I can't think about what I'm trying to give her information on, I will literally go to the Vagina Bible. It is a great thing. Now, menopause is a wholly different animal. So once you've gone through menopause, you have, and there is some vaginal dryness for some people during perimenopause. But once you hit menopause, I would say a good 60, 70 people have some kind of vaginal dryness. The thing is when you have vaginal dryness, when you're not as lubricated as you need to be, you're going to create those minute tears, and you're going to create problems where you can introduce bacterial and yeast infections. Also, some people during perimenopause can start getting UTIs where they never had them before, and that can become more prominent once you go into menopause.
Yeah.
So making sure you have a great lubricant. Now, I'm not going to change anybody's mind. I'm just going to give you my opinion. Coconut oil has a drying property in it. So using coconut oil, even very refined coconut oil, as a lubricant is not something I am ever going to recommend. Okay. Olive oil has natural sugars, and it's not healthy for your fauna and floral that is naturally occurring in your vaginal cavity. I don't recommend it. Yes, some of our lubes have glycerin in them, but there are different types of glycerin. Now, one of the things that I will tell you is if you're using cosmetic grade ingredients, so if you're going to your local pharmacy, most of those lubricants are cosmetic grade. There's very few, there are some, so read your labels. And I definitely recommend the app that tells you whether or not that particular lubricant is healthy for you. We have a lubricant that actually works with your body. It's called Just Like Me. So you use it, and the more aroused you becomes, the slicker it becomes. It's definitely a great lubricant. But for some people, even that isn't enough. The dryness is just chronic. So we do have, and it's painful. So we do have a lubricant that works for that. Then you can also use a silicone lube that is pharmaceutical grade that gives you that silkier, softer glide. I definitely recommend that. Also, a lot of times when people are going through menopause, like sex seems to all of a sudden be off the table. That will lead to vaginal atrophy. And here's the thing, it's sort of yes, there's the mentality if you use it, you lose it, but having orgasms on a regular basis actually helps keep your vaginal walls very healthy. So having orgasms, so even clitoral orgasms work. So using a toy, if you have a partner, it will definitely get to the point where it becomes quality over quantity. So I definitely recommend having discussions with your partners about what you feel comfortable with. Certain positions may not feel comfortable like they did before. Other positions will feel more comfortable. Also, the way you get aroused may change. Like before, it could have been breast play, and now that's not how you do it. Here's the thing. In 1968, we put a man on the moon. We did not figure out the anatomy of a clitoris till the early 2000s. Like, this is your clitoris, but this is all you see if you're looking at a mirror, okay? You don't even realize that all of this, and blood fills all of this and gets you aroused, okay? So your vaginal opening literally sits between these two, and then at the top of this notch is where your urethra opening is. So maybe using the outer edges of the crura or the inner part, those inner lips, and using foreplay in that area is going to help you get into the mood. It's not always about direct clitoral stimulation. Sometimes it's about working with the whole clitoris. That's super important during perimenopause and menopause. There are some really other not everybody kind of gets it. I have always been klutzy out the gate, so I can't tell you, but some people in perimenopause and menopause, they get super klutzy. It's a balancing issue. Some people get like these zaps, the muscle zaps, or like nerve zaps. Mm-hmm. There's probably 20 to 30 different kind of menopause symptoms. Mm-hmm. I definitely recommend a lot of moisture, a lot more water, a lot more focus on self during menopause.
Yep.
most perimenopause symptoms will go away during menopause, but some people, I have a friend of my mother's, she's in her 80s, she still gets hot flashes. That is not the norm, but it does happen. And definitely, again, if you're not getting from your provider what some natural solutions are, or even maybe going to some Western medicine solutions, if they're not giving you those options, please go see another provider. There are solutions for a lot of it. You can ask me or people like me. We can give you what we have, but then again, we're also not positioned. And I will never give someone advice until they've seen a physician, because there could be something completely else going on. And I'm never going to recommend a product until I know that person's like, they're being told this is a normal part and we can go from there. Libido becomes a huge issue during perimenopause and after menopause. Some people don't experience it, which, oh my God, like, bless ya. But some people, it definitely is. And I think a lot of it too is if you put together weight gain, you're hot flashing, you're dry, you don't feel good about yourself. And that leads to like a disconnect in the relationship. It is definitely something to talk about. And it's like I tell women all the time, I don't care if you're 18 or 80. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't give to another partner, and you can't take care of others. You've got to take care of self first. And I spent years not knowing that until I got really sick. Your health is your most valuable asset.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling crazy and feeling off and feeling like nobody listens. I mean, I've had some breakdowns in doctors' offices before, and you're not crazy, and this is part of life. But there are things, we don't just have to deal with it anymore. There are things out there that can help you.
Yeah.
And acupuncture is a good one too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I use a naturopath. I don't go to the allopathic doctors because they've been misdiagnosing me or not diagnosing me since I was 19 years old. So I only go to the allopathic doctors for things like broken arms and, broken, smashed feet and toes and, that kind of thing. Getting my blood tests, my yearly annual blood test run. But like today, I have an appointment with a naturopathic doctor because I'm personally having female issues. And so I am going to a naturopath for that. And, alternative holistic medicine can actually heal your body, whereas just giving you a drug is just going to band-aid everything. And the one thing I want to point out to everybody is when you get your hormones tested, don't go to an allopath to test them unless you have to. Go to a naturopath. And the reason why is because when I went to the allopaths to try to test my hormones, they did not run all of the numbers and all the studies that they needed to do. And then they sat there and shook their head at me and said, I can't help you. I don't know what to do. I don't, blah, blah, blah. So I went to the naturopath. Naturopath ran extra things like, for example, the thyroid. I had multiple allopathic doctors tell me there's nothing wrong with my thyroid. I went to the and I knew there was something wrong with my thyroid. I knew I had a hypothyroid problem. Went to a naturopath and they ran additional tests that the allopaths will not run on your body. And then they came back and said, absolutely, Kimberly, you're correct. You have a slow thyroid. Here's what you need to take. And they got me set up. They got me on a special diet. I've had to go gluten-free, like you were talking about gluten-free. I found out that gluten was making me sick in every area. I mean, it was causing inflammation. It was causing digestive system failure. It was causing all kinds of problems in my life. And when I went off of the gluten, my whole body just changed completely. So I highly recommend that, is going off of the gluten. All of the wheat and corn and rice and all of that in the United States is highly sprayed with glyphosates and it's GMO, and they spray it with so many different pesticides. In fact, it's all banned in Europe. I think they have 8,000 different chemicals that we use here in the US in our supply, all banned over in Europe. So if you eat gluten in Europe and you eat gluten in the US, you're not going to have the same reaction. It's a totally different thing. So that's something I just, and this again, this is my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just giving my opinion. But if you're going to get tested, I would go, if you have to go to an allopath to get your test done, that's fine. But if you can go to a naturopathic doctor who specializes in women's health, I would highly recommend that. So anyways, I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but
So, I mean, I like natural medicine, like certain vitamins and certain supplements. But some of my chronic illnesses just require me to go to a doctor. So
yeah.
I don't, yeah. So I'm a mindset. You got to do what you got to do. I'm gonna just. I never go to change anybody's mind. I just go out there and go, this is the information I have.
Yeah.
This is what I've learned. And hopefully this somewhat helps you, that kind of thing. So
yeah. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I'm just saying that's how I do it. I just, people need to do their own thing. And honestly, you just always have to do, no matter what you're doing out there, people, please do what is best for you. What is best for you is most important, because every person is a unique thumbprint of God, and you need to do what is for you, because what is good for Desi might not be good for me at all. Or maybe some of the things that are good for Desi. But I mean, I also have some autoimmune stuff. I don't have the same one you have, but autoimmune disrupts everything in your life. It disrupts all the systems of the body, and it can impact everything, not just your sexual health. It also will infect your, how do you want to say, your autoimmune, your immune system, your mental, your brain. It's going to impact pretty much everything from the top all the way down. So it's really important, if you have an autoimmune disorder and you're struggling with sexual stuff, so important for you to get a really good doctor who understands autoimmune disorder. We have a daughter who has very serious autoimmune stuff, and we've had to take her to all kinds of specialists. And it was really hard for us to find a doctor who even knew anything at all about what is going on with her. We had so many doctors we took her to that were just clueless. So you have to, how do I say it? Turn over every stone until you get the answers you're looking for. So if you go to one, if you go to a doctor and they shake their head at you and go, I can't help you, they throw their hands up, because I've had it happen multiple times where they go, oh, I don't know what to tell you. This isn't my area of expertise, or, whatever. Keep going, keep trying, keep seeking an expert in whatever area that is, until you find somebody who knows some answers and is able to work in a nice cohesive relationship with you to help you with your health. So don't just like quit. Whatever you do, my biggest advice to everybody out there is never quit when it comes to your health. Keep moving forward. Keep trying to find whatever it is, whether it's somebody like Desi that you need to reach out to, or it's some other person out there. You need to keep looking until you find the answers for your health, because if your body goes, then that's it. Your life is dead. And I mean, you have one body, one chance, one shot at this. That's it. Nobody's going to come.
So the biggest thing I want to hit on is there's a lot of medications that will mess with your libido, or they'll mess with your vaginal health. So if you're finding that you're drier, or all of a sudden your libido's gone, you need to go back to the doctor. Let them know if your sexuality is really important to you. And most medications have alternatives now. Even ADHD meds can cause libido issues. And here's the biggest thing I want women to understand is something that does not affect your sexual wellness. So say you're on a cholesterol med. For women, for the most part, it doesn't have a factor in your libido or anything like that. A man, however, taking the statins, and certain cholesterol meds, it can like stop their libido in the tracks. Women, if you take blood pressure medications, usually not, I say usually because sometimes there are those outliers. Usually it doesn't affect your sexual wellness all that much. But a man taking blood pressure medication, it can have a whole different effect on them. So just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean that it can't affect your partner if your partner is a male. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But let your physician know if it's causing a problem, because definitely there's usually alternatives. Maybe you're taking a generic, maybe the true version of it would actually alter some of those side effects. I'm a big believer that all generics are the same. So just know that you should talk to your physician. And sometimes it's hard because I was on a medication for my lung issue, and talking to a pulmonologist and going, hey, hello, this all of a sudden brought my libido to a halt. And then they don't even know, they don't even know, like they don't usually have those conversations, right? And then you're of a certain age, so they're like, are you sure it's not your menopause?
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure. Here's my thing. If you're 22 years old, are you going to be that in tune with your body? No. But if you are 50 plus, I'm going to pretty much guarantee those women are pretty in tune with their bodies. They know what's normal for them and they know what's not. The problem with women, though, and I will bang my head on a wall to this, we take care of so many other people in our lives, or we're taking care of a spouse, or we're taking care of parents, especially in the 40, 50 age. We're doing all of that. We know something's wrong, but we're just putting it on the back shelf. Please stop doing that, because you cannot take care of others if you cannot take care of yourself. And I get it. I used to be the worst person at this, of putting it off, honestly, because I didn't want to know. It just seemed like the shoe dropped. For a while there, it just seemed like one problem after another. I didn't want to go. But then it just became to the point where I couldn't even take care of my children. So yeah, don't get to that point. Do not. So take care of yourself.
I have a question for you, Desi. So you were talking a little about low libido. Does your company, Pure Romance, have products or things that can help people that are having libido issues?
So we have enhancement creams.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this because it goes on the outside of the body. It's not something you take internally. It's something that's temporary for like a half hour, maybe 40 minutes tops. Mm-hmm. So we have it's an amp gel. And so I love gels because they just absorb into the tissue. And it's something that you would put on your clitoris. And basically, it's a lot of blood flowing to that area. It has that cool, like you put a little ice cube on there for a second, and then it gets you in the mood. I love these because I tell everybody, like, literally just have your partner ready when you use this, because it will happen very quickly. O is another enhancement cream, and it again is pea-sized amount. You're not squeezing a tube. They come in little tiny tubes. This can be used on your clitoris. It's a little bit stronger, or on the main vein that runs down the shaft of a penis, and it will get more blood flowing to the penis. I definitely recommend with some men. So when we have menopause, they have what they call andropause.
Yeah.
So when they hit their 40s, 50s, we always say it's a midlife crisis. No, it's their hormones and their testosterone. So they lose some muscle mass. Mm-hmm. Some will lose hair. Some will just, they change. They get a midsection, like just like we do. So
beer belly.
Unfortunately, yeah. But unfortunately, they usually have enough testosterone so they can still lose it if they work out, which you just want. But here's the thing. Men can produce babies until they die. Their sperm can produce babies till they die.
Yeah.
Women, we stop producing eggs as soon as we go into menopause, so we no longer have to worry about that. The thing with oh, now I lost my train of thought. What was the question again? Libido.
Oh, about the libido. Like what you have.
So we have, if they are having, they can have it where when they get 40 to 50, they can have it where their erection is not as hard as it was when they were younger. So using something like O and getting that blood flow, if that works, perfect. But you can also add a C ring to it. Now, a lot of people will say cock ring. That's not technically true. It's short for constriction ring. And what that does is the ring hugs them. It's not meant to strangle. And anybody with diabetes or high blood pressure should talk to their doctor before using one. So I'm gonna put that out there right now. What it does, it hugs the shaft of the penis and it keeps the blood flow in the penis. It doesn't let it go back out. So it keeps them erect for longer and it gives them a different kind of orgasm. We have ones that vibrate. We have the ones that don't vibrate. If you were to reach out to me, I'm going to ask you, is your partner thin and long? Is the average? And the average in the United States is about 5.5 inches. And when your thumb and your middle finger reach around, it touches. Anything above that is larger. Different sizes for different size men, or males with a penis. Okay. Women have different size vaginas. Some vaginas are shorter, some vaginas are longer. The average length of a woman's vaginal canal is 3 to 4 inches. So I don't know why people are wanting 8-inch men, but okay. And when you get aroused, that can go to 5 to 6 inches. So that's about the length of your vagina when fully aroused. So libido, like we have the creams, we even have GPS. GPS is a G-spot cream. So you take it and you put a pea-sized amount up and around where your G-spot is. So if you're not sure where your G-spot is located, and some people don't know, it is 1.5 inches on the interior side of the wall, so your belly button side. And it's a rich area that feels different than the tissue around it. Now, clitoris requires light touch to become aroused. The G-spot requires firmer, harder pressure, which is why a lot of women say they have these amazing orgasms when they get on top, because they can feel where that is going for them. There does take some practice. I can tell you most women after 35 finally figure out where their G-spot is. You just sort of figure out whether you know it or not. A lot of younger women don't even really realize how to get that going. And that, again, it's not knowing what you don't know. So we do have creams like that that are available, especially if you don't want to take a medication or take something. And quite frankly, there's no Viagra for women or Cialis for women. And I will tell you, I'm not sure they're going to come up with one, because men are aroused by what they see and what they touch. Okay. Women are aroused by how we're made to feel. It's the coming up from behind, having your partner come up behind you, kissing you on the neck. It's having your partner say things like, "Oh my God, you look amazing today." Maybe it's little text messages you got throughout the day, or it's compliments you get, or maybe they're rubbing their hands up your thigh, and it's
more intimacy. It's more intimacy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So women are aroused that way. I don't know, Mary. I mean, I agree with makeup sex, because if you've made up with your partner, there is that connection, that mutual connection again. I don't know about angry sex. I just I don't see it. If there's someone out there that works for them, perfect.
Not me.
But
I don't want to have
if I'm
anything to do with
stuck
that.
on my partner, the last thing I'm going to do is get
Yeah.
into that situation. So yeah.
Mhm.
But libido also can come and go. So I definitely feel like if you guys if you guys are in a situation where like maybe you put a parent in a hospice, or maybe you have a child that's going through some things, that stress, right hands down, will like affect your libido. If you or your partner have PTSD, so you're married to a soldier like I am. My husband spent 23 years in the military and 8 deployments. PTSD does affect libido, and if you're in that ramping up cycle with PTSD, it's not going to happen. But women can have PTSD from sexual assault, from childhood traumas, from crime, a victim. Like, there's so many things, or they're a female soldier themselves. It can affect them differently as well. So sometimes you can get aroused, but you can't get the orgasm. And people think, oh, my libido's off. It is off, but it's because something else is affecting your body. Yeah. So you have to, like, am I taking a new medication? Or is something going on in my life that's really affecting us? Or is this something new like that? And I always say, if there's nothing really going on and it's not something new that's affecting you, give our stuff a try. It is definitely the path of least resistance. Because if something like that helps boost it, now you have to use it to work. So you may still not feel like wanting sex, but once you use it, it does. And here's my other big thing. If women want to keep their libido going, okay, 3 orgasms a week, whether that's with a partner or by yourself. I am a big proponent of orgasms. Really do so much for your body. They help with joint lubrication of the joint. They help with your skin. They help with blood pressure, stress relief. You cannot be physically or mentally stressed after an orgasm. How long that lasts is up to you. It does so much for your body. So having a toy that helps you get there. I mean, if you can do it manually, great, but I'm really like trying to prevent carpal tunnel here. So a toy, and this is my biggest thing. I have so many women that come to me, they're like, I want a toy because it's getting harder to orgasm. As you age, it will. But my partner thinks a toy is cheating. The average male in the United States masturbates 4 to 5 times a week. Tell your partner when he stops using his hand, because a man can get erect in less than 7 seconds. They can have an orgasm in less than 2 minutes. It takes the average woman over the age of 35, 10 to 20 to 25 minutes to become aroused enough to have her first orgasm. Some women, depending on their wellness, can take up to 45 minutes. So it just depends on the woman. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend, I'm not getting carpal tunnel. So like, I just look at them and go, when they're going to give that up, then they can do that. But I'm a big proponent of, I agree with having conversations with your partner. But I also agree with, if there's not a religious issue, or if there's not a medical issue, reason why you cannot, toys are tools. And sometimes we need tools to help us get through changes in our life. A woman's body changes every 7 years. I promise you, what you like at 21, you will abhor at 30, and it will be something different. So sometimes you need the tools. And if your partner is saying no, that is a bigger, deeper conversation to have. And I would definitely recommend a marriage counselor or a relationship counselor. or even a sex counselor at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I definitely have spent a fair amount of money on all kinds of toys.
Yeah. Well, one, you should replace them every 7 years. So if you haven't replaced a toy in 7 years, that needs to go, because those, even the best of silicones, will break down at some point. And you want to keep yourself safe. And another thing, lube should be thrown away yearly. Mark it on your calendar, do a clean out of that drawer or that area, and find something new. And also, we as women like change, we like a lot of purses or a lot of shoes, and some women like different kinds of vibrators. And here's another thing. This is the biggest thing I learned in the last, I think it was 2 years ago in a class I took. It is recommended that you have different kinds of vibrators. So clitoral, vaginal, dual action, a couple's toy if that need be, backdoor play if that's something you're into. And here's the reason why. If you are using the same vibrator on the same speed, you are basically training your body to respond to that. If you have different vibrators and you try different speeds, now you're training your body to orgasm with any kind of stimulation. And that is advantageous to having, when you have a partner, any kind of instead of being in that one position, you can do multiple positions, and it's going to get you there because you've now encouraged your body to do it with several different ways. So I don't look at that as a downside. So
Awesome. So is there any other last minute, because I'm looking at the time and it's 12:05 and I've got an appointment I have to be to because I'm going to the naturopath. So I wanted to see, is there any other important information you think everybody needs to know about sexual wellness that you want to leave everyone with?
I think for me, it comes down to if you are in a relationship, this is the one thing I tell all women if I get together. If you're not in a relationship, this is good advice for the future. One, when your partner comes to you and they want to try something new, sometimes you think it's one thing and it's not what they were thinking, and your gut reaction is no. And now that partner is it's almost like their ego is down. They're not going to come to you ever again. And that becomes a communication issue in the future. So I tell all women, please ask them, what does that look like? Because they say, remember that 50 Shades of Grey movie? Can we try some of that stuff? Maybe you're thinking it's the beatings, and all they were thinking about was the blindfold and a little bit of bondage where he's playing with her body. Ask them what it looks like, and then compromise from there. As far as sexual wellness, don't skip out on yearly exams. Don't let things go away. Definitely read ingredients. I mean, we all just saw what came out with the tampon thing. Even the natural ones were included in that. So, think about things like that. There's so many new things. Period panties, diva cups. Find what works for you. Make sure you're staying healthy, but do not skip yearly check. Oh, and that's my big thing. A lot of women who've had hysterectomies complete, they don't think they have to go back. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You can get labia cancer. It's rare. You can get cancer inside the vaginal wall. There are so many things that can happen to you. Is it yearly? Maybe not. Maybe it's every 3 to 5 years. Talk to your physician about that, or your GYN. But just because you had a hysterectomy, mammograms are still a thing. There's so many checks that you should have go. And if money's an issue, I'm hoping and praying you live in an area or a state that still has free clinics or women's clinics, things like that. Growing up, I did not have a parent that talked about that. Planned Parenthood was my saving grace. The people there were amazing about like birth control and getting my yearly checks done and talking to me about a lot of things. So, yeah, get your yearly checks.
Yeah, I feel fortunate. My mother was an OBGYN nurse.
Oh, yeah.
So she talked to me about everything. So I didn't have a problem, but yeah,
Yeah.
I feel fortunate that I had a mom who was kind of a sexual health expert, I guess you can say. So she helped me with that when I was
Yeah.
younger. But
Oh, that's pretty much. And if anybody wants to reach out, that's perfectly fine. I'm willing to answer questions. I will, like I said at the beginning, I will refer you to the doctor if it's
Mhm.
something, you know, that I feel needs to be checked. Like, I'm just not going to give people products if they haven't been checked out because there's so many things that could cause so many things with your sexual wellness.
Right. So do you offer free, sorry, my allergies are kicking up. Do you offer anything as far as free consultations go, or how do you
People
work?
call me. I have
Okay.
clients that reach out all the time and like, here's my issue. What do you think? And I'll be like, you need to see a GYN. And then let me know what happens and let me know what they
Mhm.
say. And then, you know, I have people that reach out and ask me questions about their partner because men are notorious for not going to the doctor.
Mhm.
And I'll be like, they need to see a urologist or they need
Mhm.
to this, that. And if he's like I have, you know, women that will say, my husband's diabetic, and here's the thing. Okay, ask the urologist first. And
Mhm.
that literally is a message. And then I can like, you know, offer you products. I give lots of resources. I have resources in domestic violence that I keep on hand. I have places where women can go if they're getting out of searches. I'll give them that information all day long. And then there's people that I have that I can give them that are experts in their fields, specific things that I will give them the numbers to or information or websites to. I'm not a medical person, so yeah. But now you ask me anything about toys and wanting to spice up a relationship or the relationship's gotten stale, I am your girl. I'm going to help you with that. Or I got divorced and
Mhm.
I'm not ready to go out on the market, but I want to do stuff. I have you. I have you. If you have questions about
Awesome.
your own anatomy, I will
Mhm.
help you with that. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your link. I think it's your linktree.ee, that one /PR Beach Boss. Isn't that your link, I
Yeah.
believe? Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
to put that in the description. So if any of you want to get in touch with Desi and find out more about her Pure Romance products, which by the way, I want to say thank you again to you, Desi, for donating items to our women's retreat. We had our wonderful, successful women's self-care and healing retreat in May in Lake Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And Desi was kind enough to contribute little women's self-care packs, which were amaze balls. All the women at our retreat loved these packs, and we all appreciated you for that. So thank you so much.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
yeah, if anybody wants any, she has samples, I believe, of her products as well, right? If people want to
Yeah.
try. Yeah.
I mean, our sample line is really limited,
Mhm.
but it's definitely something that I can, you know, if we have it, I'll totally send it if someone wants to try it out.
Awesome. Awesome. So if any
Yeah.
of you have any questions, I will have her website info down below. Also, if you go to her link, it also gives you her Instagram, her TikTok, her Facebook. She's got a sexual wellness group or page on Facebook that you can go to,
Yeah.
right? For
There's a lot of
information.
tips in there. Yeah, I put tips in there. I put specials in there. I put personal stuff in there. So if you want to know more about my life, which is like right now a little crazy, but yeah.
And then your line that you have, it's not just skincare. You also have lingerie, you have toys, you have pretty much everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So,
and I'm also
yeah.
a brand ambassador for Uncovered. We had the facial care line in with us, but now we're brand ambassadors for them. And it's outside of the stuff I buy from Europe, it's the one I use on my face. And I love it because the ingredients are like in big writing right on the front of the bottle. And it's the stuff is amazing and it's simple. So yeah, that'll all be on there.
That's awesome.
So
All right.
yeah.
Well, this has been awesome getting all this great information from you today for everybody. I know there's lots of a good portion of my clients are women over 40, so they're going to love this. Actually, probably women over 35, because I do have a lot of clients in their 30s as well, but I would say majority of everyone is over 30 35, and we do have some men too that come to me as well that
Yeah.
will be watching this. So I'm sure everybody will find this information very helpful. So thank you so much for coming on here today and sharing all this. And again, I will leave her information on in the description. And please go, if you're watching this on my How I Heal Everything channel, that's great. But if you're watching this on Rumble, please go to YouTube to How I Heal Everything. And the link will be actually in the description for that channel. And please sign up if you want to know healing stuff. So anything to do with physical, healing, whether it's headaches. I think I did a video. There's quite a few videos on there. I think I did one on migraine headaches. I've done videos on pretty much everything. I had a video on hair loss because I was losing my hair like crazy after I had the COVID stuff. So after I had that, I was losing my hair. So after figuring out how to restore hair, I did a video on how to deal with hair loss. So if you go to that channel on YouTube, if you're watching this on Rumble, that channel will be where I post anything that is health and healing related from this point forward. So thank you all for joining us here today. Please like and share and subscribe. And we appreciate all of you, and we'll see you again next time. And thank you again, Desi, for joining us today.
Thanks, Kim. Take care.
Thanks.